problem of health. And it's a whole balagan. So they call up the in charge of the health minister. I don't know how it's called in English. And they went to check out the dog. And the dog had, the neighbor, it's called kalevet. Yeah? Kalevet is rabies. Yeah, not easy. So they decided to take all the wine and to throw it. Not only the wine, but certain barrels also to change it. It was a damage of hundreds of thousands of dollars over here. It was something terrible. Now the question came up, these two people, also the blind man and also the owner of the factory, both of them are Shomrei Torah Mitzvot. Instead of fighting in between them, they decided to go to a bedin, but not as a fight, just to know what's the halacha. Who have to pay? Is the owner of the dog have to pay? Or the damage will have to take it, the owner of the factory. The bedin, they decided to go to a bedin of Rav Nissim Karelitz in Eretz Israel, in Bnei Brak, one of the most powerful bedin that we have today in our generation. And the bedin was amazed to see how these two Jews, instead of making a whole fight and a balagan, just came as friends. You know, happened. Let's see what's the halacha. What the main problem was that the bedin was looking at this halacha, this case, and they passed throughout all the seifim of Hoshen Mishpat. Hoshen Mishpat is the Shulchan Aruch is divided in 4. Hoshen Mishpat is dedicating himself in all the halachot of Dinei Mamonot, of money issues. But they didn't found the right answer for this case. Why? Every single possibility to say that this one will be hayav more than the other one was broken by another possibility. Anyway, they were sitting in the case a whole entire month. They didn't find who have to pay. Does the dog have to pay? There is a responsibility. The other guy, right? The owner of the dog says, listen, I don't mind to pay, but if he wasn't the problem of the leak, right? My dog wouldn't drink it. The other one, he says, well, who gave you permission to enter with the dog? Mekitzur, machloket. Rabotai, one of the rabbis in the Bedin decided to go to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He prayed with him every morning. And one of the mornings, Rav Chaim Kanievsky prays in the Netz Minyan, next to his house. He went to pray with him. And after the tefillah, he approached the rabbi. He planted him the whole entire question. It says the rabbi asked him one question. He says, tell me something. Did the dog smell the wine before or not? He says, yes, Rabbi. The dog smelled it. Smell it? Patur. It doesn't have to pay. The owner doesn't have to pay. Rabbi, we're sitting a whole month. You're telling me patur like that? I mean, what? And Rav Chaim Kanievsky, look what is the power of Torah. And Rav Chaim Kanievsky said, you were looking for the answer in the wrong place. Why? They followed the whole entire Shulchan Aruch. The answer of the question is in the Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah. Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah brings down in Daf Daled. The Gemara is telling us a story about Daryavesh, Koresh. Why his name was Koresh? The Gemara writes because he was a kasher. He was kasher, even though he was a goy. He was, according to some Mefarshim, he was the son of Achashverosh and Esther. Some opinions. Anyway, Koresh decided to build the Beit HaMikdash, the second Beit HaMikdash. At the end, what happened was that Koresh did something wrong, and he lost his kashrut. Instead of being kasher all his life, he did something wrong. And the Gemara explains that there was a Navi. The Navi came up to Koresh. He always used to give the cup of the wine. It was Sarah Mashkim of Koresh, and he was giving him the cup of wine every single day. Now, Rabbi, just to understand, back then to have Sarah Mashkim was the person that the king had to trust him the most, because Very easy is to put a poison inside the wine and to kill the king. This Navi, one day, met someone that was in Eretz Israel. And he told him the whole situation that's going on in Eretz Israel. They built already half of the Beit HaMikdash, but the walls weren't built yet. And there was a whole balagan with enemies. The Navi got very sad to hear that Am Yisrael are still suffering in Eretz Israel. So that day, when he came to give the wine to Koresh, he was sad. He was sad. So the king asked him, tell me something. Why today you're sad? There is something weird going on over here. Maybe Chaz v'Shalom he put any poison or something. So the Navi said, Chaz v'Shalom, don't be choshed that I'm trying to poison the king. I'm just sad, and he told him the whole story. Like the Gemara writes, Nikarim divrei emet. When you see a person that is telling the truth, you can recognize it. Anyhow, Koresh said, you know what? You telling me that Am Yisrael is suffering? No problem. I'm going to give you the permission to go to Eretz Israel. Just tell me, okay, when are you going to come back? That's what the Gemara writes down. And the Navi told Koresh when he's leaving, when he's coming back, and the Pasuk writes that he told to Koresh and to the Shegal. What's the Shegal? Asks the Gemara. What's Shegal? Shegal, says the Gemara, is a dog. Koresh had, instead of a queen, a dog. Meaning, in his left side, he was having a dog and giving him a lot of respect. As the Gemara, Shegal is a dog. How come? We found another similar story. Years before Koresh, the grandfather of Koresh, basically, Daryavish, that was the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. This guy had a story that he was fighting against Paras, against the Persians, and he won the war. And he decided to come back and to make a huge feast. And the Navi writes that this Rasha decided to take all the utensils of the Beit HaMikdash, to pour wine on it, and to give to all the people. And says the Navi that at that moment something terrible happened. A hand came up and he wrote something in the wall. The Navi writes that the king started to shake. He didn't understand what is this. And he called up the great Chacham, Daniel, famous Daniel, to read him what's written over there. And he told him, listen, you will tell me what's written and I will give you a third of my kingdom. And I will put you Ravid Zav, I will put you a special necklace that it shows that you are a very important person. Daniel, look at the king, and he told him, listen, Habibi, you can keep all your treasures and your Ravid Zav as well. Because what's written over here is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tonight is going to change your kingdom. And he's going to pass it to Paras. Right? And you're going to lose all what he did. Why you gave to the people to drink from the kelim of the Beit HaMikdash? Even his grandfather, Nebuchadnezzar, that he destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. He didn't dare to touch those kelim. And you use it to give it to your people and to your Shegal. Says the Gemara, what do you see from here? That Shegal, it's not a dog. How come? Writes the Gemara, and that's the main point. Writes the Gemara, because a dog doesn't drink wine. So as the Gemara, there is a contradiction. Shegal, from one side, is a queen. From another side, Shegal, you're telling me by Koresh, was a dog. The Gemara answers few answers. One of them is, you're right. Shegal, it's usually not a dog. But we have a Kabbalah. Kabbalah that we accepted from generation after generation. That whoever was sitting next to Koresh at that moment was really a dog and wasn't a regular queen. That's the answer of the Gemara. There's a rabbi Rav Chaim Kanevsky to the rabbi from the Bedin, tells him, you see, so a dog, it's not normal for him to drink. We know that there is a halacha, it's a Gemara in Masechet Kama. When is it that he doesn't have to pay for a damage that his animal did? There is few types of damages. One damage is shen, teeth. What is the damage of shen? Damage of shen is any single damage that your animal caused and you enjoy from it. Example, I have right now, I'm walking with my dog, and I pass next to a butcher. And the dog sees a great, hot dogs or whatever it is, and he jumps on it, and he eats it. So the Gemara writes, this is called shen. This is called that he enjoyed from the damage. Why? He enjoyed it because he ate. The owner enjoyed it because now he doesn't have to give him food today, or he doesn't have to give him supper, right? And about this type of damage, the Gemara in Masechet Baba Kama writes that the owner have to pay the full price. But there is a second type of damage. This is called keren. What's a keren? Horns. Let's say I have a cow, I have a bull. And the bull came up and he, broke one of the windows of your car. As an example. According to the Gemara in Masechet Baba Kama, the damage of an animal that he did without enjoying from the damage, it's called keren. And the amount of payment that I have to pay until the third time have to be half of the payment, half of the damage. If my animal damaged $100, I will pay only $50. Correct? Says the Gemara, this payment of half a damage, it's called not mamon, knas. It's not a payment, obligated payment according to the halakha, but it's a fine that Chachamim establish. And the Gemara writes in Masechet Baba Kama that there is no fine outside Eretz Yisrael. Not only outside Eretz Yisrael, it was back then in the time of the Beit HaMikdash. Today it doesn't apply even in Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, say the Rabbi, Rav Chaim Kanevsky tells to the Rabbi of the Bedin, this dog usually it doesn't eat and doesn't drink wine. The Gemara writes that it's not normal. Therefore, the Gemara is telling us that there is no enjoyment really for the dog by eating, by drinking this wine. So the damage that he did, in which category will be? In the damage of keren. Therefore, he will have to pay originally half a damage, but today there is no knas, there is no fine that it's obligated to pay today in our generation. Therefore, patur. So the rabbi asked him, Chacham, so why did you ask me that if the dog smell it or not? What does this have to do with the smell? So the rabbi, very easy. Because if the dog wasn't smelling, I will say, you know why he drank? Because he thought that it was water. But the Gemara, and he brought a midrash, very strange midrash. But the midrash writes that a dog, the power of his smell is the same power of taste. So therefore, instead of Chaim Kanevsky, if the dog smelled it, so he knew that it was a wine. And even though he licked it a little, this is called that it's not normal, it's not casual, and therefore it will be patur of payment. By the way, I explained that the 50% today doesn't apply anymore because we don't have Beit HaMikdash to charge a fine. Fines, we don't charge today. We charge only mamon, meaning damage that it's a money damage. Anyway, the Bedin was amazed because when they call up the two sides to tell them the halakha, right? The blind person that is patur, he says, I understand that I am patur, but because there was a damage for the owner of the factory, I would like to pray to help him a little bit about the damage that was caused because of me. And he gave a check, and they said that the amount of the check that he wrote was a very high amount to help out this person. He says, we'll learn from here two amazing things. Number one, we know LaYehudim Aita Ora V'Simcha V'Sason Vikar. Right? Purim is LaYehudim Aita Ora. Ora, it's a light. Says the Gemara, Ora Zot Torah. What is giving us the light today to know what is the right way how to act or not the learning of Torah. That's why the Gemara writes that when Am Yisrael, the Borei Olam, put the mountain on top of Am Yisrael and they told him, are you over there where you will be buried, the Mefarshim are asking, why Sham? Kan. Over here you're supposed to be buried. And why Am Yisrael didn't want to accept the Torah? They say, Na'aseh v'nishma. Machloket in the Poskim, what's the right answer? Tosafot writes the answer. And he says, Am Yisrael accepted the Torah, Na'aseh v'nishma, about the written Torah. But about the oral Torah, they didn't accept it. They were obligated. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, today you're accepting it obligated. But Sham, the days of Purim, the days of Mordechai ve'Esther, you will accept the Torah mirtzonchem, and that will save you from the kevura, from being not being killed by Haman al-Rasha and Ahashverosh. Rabotai, what is giving us life, En ummatenu umma, say Rav Saadia Gaon, our nation, it's not a nation, ella betorotea, only because of our great Torah. It's the only nation in the world that even though we were so spread out in all type of countries, different mentalities, different languages, we have one thing in common, that is our Torah. And leYehudim hayta ora v'simcha. Once a person is learning Torah, especially the days of Purim, the day of Purim, is learning Torah, and he pray to have this beracha of understanding the words of Torah, Borei Olam is opening Sha'arei Chokhmah, and Sha'arei Tevunah, to be able to sit down and learn Torah, and to be able to get connected to Borei Olam. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'Amen.